Have you ever really stopped to think about the water you drink? I mean, not where it came from today, a spring, a reservoir, whatever, but where it's been for the last, say, 4 billion years. Let's get right into this because I promise you, what I'm about to share will completely change how you look at a simple glass of water forever.
You see, the story of the water inside you isn't just about geology or chemistry. It's a story about biology, about deep time, and yeah, it's about dinosaurs. The most profound connection you have to the prehistoric world, it isn't locked away in a museum. It's literally flowing through your body, right now.
It sounds completely impossible, right? Like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But what if I told you it's not only possible, but it's actually a near certainty? To understand how, we have to start with this single most important rule about every drop of water on our planet.
Our whole journey begins with this one fundamental truth about our planet. Earth is, for all intents and purposes, a closed system. And that has massive implications for every single water molecule in existence.
This is honestly the perfect analogy. For billions of years, with a tiny exception of a few icy comets here and there, the total amount of water on Earth has stayed the same. It's constant. The water that's here right now has always been here. It's just been, well, moving around a lot.
And this is all grounded in a bedrock law of physics. You see, water isn't created. It isn't manufactured. It's recycled. The very same H2O molecules have been cycling through rock, ice, oceans, and living creatures since the Earth first cooled down. We're all living inside a giant, planetary-scale recycling program.
And just look at that number. That's the scale we're talking about. Our planet's fixed water budget is about 4 quadrillion gallons. That's all we've got. It's all the dinosaurs had, and it's all future generations will ever have. So with a fixed budget like that, let's think about who the biggest users were for a very, very long time.
Okay, now let's turn to the absolute giants who roamed this planet. For an almost unbelievable 180 million years, the dominant life forms were processing that fixed water supply on a scale that is just, it's hard to even wrap your head around.
What's so interesting here is the sheer scale. A single Brachiosaurus might have needed up to 100 gallons of water a day. That's double what the largest land animal alive today drinks. Now multiply that by millions of dinosaurs all across the planet for 180 million years. They weren't just living in the world, they were actively drinking it.
So how does this actually work? Well, it's a pretty simple biological loop. A dinosaur drinks water from a river, its body uses that water to power its massive metabolism, and then, well, it's excreted back into the environment. But the most important part, the absolute key to this whole thing, is that last step. The H2O molecule itself, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen, is incredibly stable. It passes through that whole process completely unchanged, ready for the next part of its journey.
Think about that time frame for a second. 180 million years. That is such a ridiculously long time that it's almost guaranteed that nearly every single accessible water molecule on the planet's surface passed through a living organism. And for the longest stretch of Earth's history, that organism was probably a dinosaur. But hey, that's just the biological argument. What do the numbers say?
This is where the whole idea moves from being just plausible to being a statistical near certainty. So let's take a look at the actual math behind your glass of water.
The logic here is just incredibly solid when you lay it all out like this. You've got a fixed amount of water, you've got an unbelievably long period of time where giant reptiles were the dominant life on the planet, and you have the constant engine of the water cycle, evaporation, clouds, rain, just mixing it all together over and over and over. The conclusion becomes pretty much unavoidable.
Scientists who've actually crunched the numbers on this say the probability that any given glass of water you drink contains at least one molecule that was once inside a dinosaur is over 99%. In fact, it's probably not just one molecule. We're talking millions of them. The connection isn't just possible, it's practically guaranteed.
And this is where we need to kind of pause and reframe everything. For me, this is the most amazing part. The math is fascinating, sure, but it's abstract. The reality is that every single one of those molecules took an actual, physical path to get from a dinosaur all the way to you.
So, let's stop thinking about statistics for a second and start thinking more like a filmmaker. Let's follow the incredible, epic odyssey of just one single water molecule through deep time.
Just imagine it. A single molecule of water is exhaled as vapor from the lungs of an Allosaurus, way back in the Jurassic. It drifts into a cloud,
falls as rain, and gets pulled up by the root of one of the first flowering plants. That plant dies, the molecule returns to the soil, and eventually gets swept up into an ice sheet during the Ice Age. For thousands of years, it's locked solid in a glacier. Then, as the Ice Age ends, it melts, seeps deep into the earth, joining an underground aquifer where it sits for another 10,000 years, until today, when it's pumped to the surface and flows right out of your tap.
This is the crucial takeaway. That clear, calm water sitting in your glass has an unbelievably chaotic and ancient past. It survived asteroid impacts, the shifting of continents, volcanic eruptions, and just endless cycles of life and death. It's not just water. It's a liquid archive of our planet's entire history.
And this is where this colossal, planetary story comes all the way back home, to the most intimate place possible, inside your own body.
Every single time you take a sip of water, you are completing a cycle that has been running for billions of years. You're taking in molecules that have been part of clouds, oceans, glaciers, plants, and countless animals that came before you. It completely transforms a mundane, everyday act into something truly profound.
And this really illustrates our role in all of this, doesn't it? We aren't just watching this cycle from the sidelines. We are active participants. Your body is the current caretaker of these ancient molecules. You're the latest link in an unbroken chemical chain stretching all the way back to the dawn of life on Earth.
It's a question that's really worth sitting with for a moment. If the very substance that makes up about 60% of your body is a traveler of deep time, a direct link to primordial oceans and prehistoric beasts, then aren't you also a part of that ancient story? A temporary vessel for the history of the world?
Ultimately, this is so much more than just a cool fact about dinosaurs. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. It just dissolves that artificial line we always try to draw between ourselves and the natural world. You aren't just living on Earth. In a very real way, you are Earth, in its most current, thinking, water-drinking form.